Hey guys, it's Drew again. We all have different things about cards that we accept as far as condition to be able to afford it. Some people want dead-centered cards, other people don't mind a little off-center. Some people want sharp corners, other ones want honest corners. For me, if I have a nice, clean, clear front image with a little bit of back damage and that makes it affordable, that's what I'm going for. So today, I want to talk about my top 10 favorite cards with a little bit of back damage that helped me be able to afford them. So let's check it out. So over the years, I've come across some great cards with some great deals just because there was a little bit of back damage. Sometimes I came across great deals with a lot of back damage, and it depends on you on what you're okay with or not okay with. So I went through my collection and I pulled out 10 cards that have great images on the front that have a little bit of back damage or a lot of back damage, but it was okay with me because it allowed me to afford them because that's what I display and that's what I look at. So I'm going to go through my top 10. Now, this is not necessarily my favorite cards in order. What they are is the degree of back damage that allowed them to become affordable. So I'm going to start with my number 10 has got the least amount of back damage all the way up to my number 1. So let's check them out. My first card, and I show this off all the time, so for some of you guys, maybe you're sick of seeing it, maybe you love seeing it. But last year when I picked up my Leaf Ted Williams, graded a 1, and the reason it's graded a 1, so tiny you can barely see it, but there's a tiny little bit of paper loss right there in between those words. I mean, honestly, when I first saw this card and I showed it off last year to all my friends at the National, it took a lot of searching to be able to find it. But because of that little tiny bit of paper loss, I was able to afford this amazing card. So that's my number 10. Number 9, another classic, absolute classic card. And I love this card. But my 1953 Bowman Mickey Mantle. And it's a beautiful image. No wrinkles, sharp corners. Just a beautiful, great image. Just a classic card of the Mick. And on the back, well, there's a couple things with this. First, it was, Mookie, it was written on at one point, but the person who graded it erased it. But you could almost see a little indentation, and maybe it's not picking up on the video, down in the bottom where the statistics were lined up, but that kept the price down. But the other thing, which you may not even have seen when I showed it, but up in the top corner, someone very proud made sure that everyone knew that DM owned this with that little tiny stamp. Honestly, I didn't even see that when I first saw the card. So, but because of that, that made this affordable, and that's why it's in my collection. So there's my number 9. My number 8, another classic card, one of my biggest cards in my collection, and another beautiful front image is my Hank Aaron rookie card from 1954. Absolutely fantastic card, and I love having this card. But again, someone wanted to make sure it was owned, and you can see they stamped it right in the middle with a mailing address of a person's name and address of who owned this card. But thanks to that person making sure that it was identified to them, I was able to afford it and add it to my collection years ago. So there's my number 8. Number 7, this card just came back to me. It's what I call my boomerang card. You've probably heard this story before, but this beautiful 1949 Bowman Gil Hodges rookie card. Absolutely love this card for a lot of reasons, but just a great image. The red, white, and blue on the front, but on the back, up in the top corner, someone scribbled number 19. I don't even know what the 19 stands for, but in my book, that means I was able to afford it, and I now have it because of that. So there's my number 7. This card is my most recent pickup, and I've actually showed it in my last 3 videos, but my 1888 Scraps Tobacco. And these were meant to be put into scrapbooks, and it was at one point. And when it was pulled out, it was actually torn, and someone put a tiny piece of tape, you can see the rectangle of the glue, to adhese it back together. But the truth is until I got this card in hand, I didn't even know it had been torn and resealed. They did such a good job of putting the fibers back together. You can't really tell, but you can tell, you know, from the residue on the back. But back damage nonetheless, and in my collection, I'll take it every day. Next one, easily one of my top 3 favorite cards, and to pick a day, it could be my number 1. I love this card. I loved when I got this card. I still love this card. When I come into this room, there's about 5 cards I always check around and just look at and just smile because I just love having it, and this is one of them. But this is my 49 Leaf Stan Musial. Love, love, love this card. Love it. And the reason I was able to afford it, again, a little glue residue. Now at this point, it's taken off some of the words. You can't read the entire back. But clear enough you can read most of it. I'm still okay with it because the front is fantastic. Look how centered that thing is. Again, that blue pops, the red. I love it. Absolutely love this card. I'll take it every day of the week, twice on Sunday. If I can get back damage like that for a card that looks like that on the front to be able to get in my collection. So there's another one. Now, back-to-back Stan Musials. The next one I have, another back damage, another glued into a book, but that's my Burke Ross. This one, a little more egregious. You've got 4 big splotches cutting up the corners on it, but still, great image on the front, great centering on it, nice and clear. The registration's really, really nice on this card. I really love having this card. I've had this one for a long, long time. Didn't pay much for it because of that back damage, but because of that back damage, I was able to get it. So happy to have it. Down to my final 3. Again, this is not necessarily my 3 most favorite cards out of all 10 of these, but as the damage has gotten worse and worse as we go. So this one, I love this card. In fact, very rarely do I actually turn this card over. So when I was looking for 10 cards for this video, I forgot that this card had back damage, but man, it's got such a great, great image on the front. But my 1952 Bowman, Yogi Berra. Look at that card. Look how beautiful that is. The registration on that card. And I love this image of him. I got to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of a majority of Yogi Berra's cards, but this one is fantastic. Probably my second most favorite Yogi Berra behind the 50 Bowman. But the 52, great image. It shows him well. But unfortunately, lots of paper loss on this one. I mean, you can only read about half the words. Not only is there residue from the glue, but actually paper loss from what was ripped out of the book. And so this one, again, coming down, but that's my number 3 worst back damage to be able to afford the card on the front. Was my 52 Bowman. Yogi Berra. Then the next one, this is the only sort of common card that I have displayed up in my rack, but there's a story behind it. I love the story. I love the image. The back damage is terrible. I think I paid maybe $1 for this card because it's a common and the back damage was so bad. But there's a reason I love this card. I've told it before. Go find an old video where I explain it. But there's my 1953 Topps card number 69, Dick Brodowski. Absolutely love this card. Love the image. I love the story behind it, and I love why I have it. But this one, not only was it in a scrapbook, when they took it out, they left half the scrapbook in there. I mean, there is so much paper, you can't really see it in the case, but you can see the wrinkles. There's so much paper still attached to this thing, and it's not just like a scrapbook paper, like a newspaper, you know, that very fibrous paper, a lot of it. This is almost like plastic pages. I don't know what it came out of, but it is really, really stuck on there because I kind of looked at it and I thought, you know what? It adds to the story. I can get a nicer version of this card if I wanted to, but I love this card because of the back damage and because of the story on the front. So there you go. And then my number 1 card, and I know I've never shown this off in a video before, but I don't know how much back damage you consider before you can't even call it back damage. But my 19, and I'll tell you what I paid for this card, and I'm okay with it. I paid $5 for this card because of the damage on it. My 1957 Topps Hank Aaron, which is a great card of him. Of course, we all know it. There's so many great things about this card and the image on the front. But the reason this card has so much back damage is because the back literally is not even there anymore. I mean, it was skinned is what it is. It's super thin. If you don't know what skinning a card is, because cardboard's a little thicker, people would actually razor it in half, and that way when they glued them into a scrapbook, it would take up less thickness and they could get more in a book to flip through without becoming so thick. And probably a good idea for something like a keepsake at the time, but as far as its condition, not so much. I like to think, though, that for another $5 somewhere out there is a beautifully pristine back of this card with no front, and I would love to get it and display them next to each other. But my 1957 skinned Hank Aaron is absolutely the worst back damage card in my collection. So how about you? You guys have any back damage cards that you love to have? The ones that when people look at them, you're kind of like, I hope they don't flip it over, or maybe you show it off because you're proud of the story. I don't know. I know for me, I don't care. Very few of these cards I even remember have back damage on them. I don't hope people don't see it. If people want to see it, to me, it adds part of the story. It adds to the mystique. I don't know who owned these things, why they did it. I know that they did it because they wanted to see the card and they had it in a displayed somehow, and I absolutely love that. So those are my top 10 favorite back damage cards in my vintage collection. So let me know what you think. Until next time, you guys be good.